I bet you're wondering where to start first when you're considering relocating to the Tampa-St. Pete area. So I decided to do a video on the 6 steps to moving to Tampa-St. Pete, and so we're going to get to it right now. Hey everybody, I'm Emily. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Florida, and I live in the Tampa-St. Pete area. And this channel is dedicated to all things living, working, playing, sleeping, eating, having just a ton of fun. And if that resonates with you, I'd really love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you can be notified when I drop new videos. And also, if you have any real estate related questions or you're considering relocating to the Tampa-St. Pete area, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I love getting calls and texts and emails from everybody. People seem to have a ton of questions right now, and I'm here to be your resource, and I'm here to be your agent if you're looking to relocate. So go ahead and you can text me, you can email me, whatever works for you to reach out, and we will start to have that conversation. So today I decided to break it down a little bit for you. The 6 steps to moving to Tampa. They're really simple. You know, when I was moving back to Florida 4 years ago, actually, this month, it's my anniversary, and I was thinking about purchasing a home, and I noticed that things were starting to incline even then as far as pricing. I was very unclear as to what to do first. And obviously, the first thing I did was I found a real estate agent that I trusted. So that would be number 1. You want to reach out to me. You want to reach out and communicate with me. You can do that via text, email, like I mentioned before. You can get on my calendar. The best thing for us to do is have a face-to-face meeting. Now that can be over Zoom or Google Meet, whatever you prefer. If you happen to be making a trip to the Tampa-St. Pete area, I can always meet you, and we can sit down for coffee or lunch or dinner, whatever you prefer. And that way we get to know each other a little bit. It's a very personal experience and process when you're buying a home and you're exchanging tens of thousands of dollars. And it's important that you like your agent, you know, and I think people forget that, you know, next to a doctor, an agent is actually pretty important when you're dealing with where you're going to be spending the majority of your time. And so as an agent myself, I'm extremely invested in my clients and in the process, and I look forward to closing day just as much as you do. And it's super exciting. I really love what I do. So finding an agent that is going to be your advocate and is going to help you, especially in this crazy market, understand how to be competitive. And you need to be able to trust that agent. They need to be knowledgeable. And they also need to have really great resources, which we will get to. So it is very important that you reach out to me and that we get that communication started. When we sit down and have that conversation, we're going to be discussing things like, do you need, you know, specific school districts? Do you need help with finding school districts? Are there certain things that you must have in the house or certain things you don't have to have? Are there areas that have piqued your interest? Are you open to other areas? We will continue to have that conversation as we go along, but it's important in the beginning that we start somewhere. So communicating with me, let's get on the phone, let's have a video chat, let's talk, let's get to know each other, and let me understand your situation. Are you selling a house? Is the purchase of a home here contingent upon selling your current house? Is this an investment property? All of that is very important to me. It's also important for me to know what your budget is, and are you using cash or a lender, which we're going to get to in a minute. So all of those things are very important as well. So that's number 1. All right, so number 2 is criteria. Again, like I mentioned in the first one, it makes sense, right? We get to know each other, talk about your needs, and then we're gonna narrow that down. Do you need a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom, a 5-bedroom? Do you need a 2-car, 3-car garage? Do you want a pool? Do you need to be near tennis courts? Do you like the community pool aspect with the community activities? Are you looking to be away from people and you want to be out of the city, or do you want to be in the city, in the hubbub? Do you want to be at the beach? The interesting thing that I think a lot of people take for granted is not only in the state of Florida, but in Tampa proper, you have so many options. We are actually pretty spread out. St. Pete itself is its own like little island, and it's it's got its own diversity and interesting, eclectic stuff going on. Tampa is a whole nother beast. You can be in South Tampa where it's a little bit more posh and you're by the water and you're by where the river meets the water at the bay. Or you can be in the downtown area, that's really cool as well. Or you can go over a little bit east of downtown, which is Channel Side. Or you can go north of downtown, which is Seminole Heights. You can keep going north, you can go up to Wesley Chapel, you can, hang a left and go into you can go into the Keystone area and keep going, and if you keep going west, you hit the water. So there's so much going on in our city. It's really exciting to show people what we have to offer. And that's what's really amazing too. Understanding your criteria really helps me help you hone in on some areas so that we don't waste a lot of time. You could circle the city multiple times and still be like racking your brain, what is the right area? But the more that I get to know you and understand your personality, your needs, your hobbies, that sort of thing, how you spend your time. Are you commuting? Are the kids going to be in private school, charter school, public school? Do they have activities? How do you want to spend your day? It's important for me to know that so that I can help guide you to the areas that I think are going to be best suited for you. So knowing your criteria is very helpful for me, but also you need to be a little flexible on that criteria, because I think people come to Florida or Tampa in general and they think they're going to get these brand new beautiful homes because that's what everybody's advertising. We are still in a regentrification. There are still some 80s and 90s homes here that need some help. And because of low inventory, you might be in a situation where you have to consider whether you want to purchase this home and put the money into renovating it. New homes, new construction homes are definitely an option, but they're becoming scarce as well, and those prices just keep rising. So when they have a community that is brand new, they'll raise those rates as much as they want until everybody's sold out in that little area, and then they kind of move on. So again, I would be here to help you understand and navigate the new construction business as well. So back to criteria. It's really important that we know all the factors involved as to what you must have. And I tell people that we need a must-have list, and then we have a we'd like to have list. And sometimes we do a little crossing over. So that is number 2, know your criteria. Number 3, I put you on your own personal search through the MLS. Now, a lot of people still use Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, that sort of thing, and that is fine. I do tell people though, you're not going to get the most up-to-date information. I just had a client reach out to me today asking about a property off of Realtor.com. It's already pending. Sometimes the way that systems communicate, the MLS is the most up-to-the-minute information you're going to get. Because as soon as that listing agent has a contract agreed upon with all signatures, he has to go into the MLS and click pending. Okay, and then it sends it out to the channels. But sometimes there's a lag. And so you're gonna fall in love with the house, you're gonna call me and you're gonna say, Emily, I wanna go see this house. And right as I get off the phone with you and I go try to book us an appointment, it's pending. So I set you up on your own personal search through the MLS. I have a little link that I can send you so that you can have an app on your phone. And we can communicate that way, which is really cool. Technology is pretty awesome. You can like homes, you can favorite them, you can put them on a list, you can actually create your own searches, you can send me little notes in there, say, hey Emily, I want to go see this one. I'll be there next week. Let's add this to the list. Whatever you want. So putting you on that list, and once you start favoriting things, I highly recommend favoriting them, liking them, that sort of thing, because then the algorithm starts to learn what you like and it will start to push out other homes that they think that you might be interested in. So keep that in mind. So getting you on that home search is really important. I also suggest getting on a search even if you're thinking 3, 6, 9 months out, because you need to start watching the market. Everybody's calling me saying, is it gonna crash? Are prices gonna drop? No, they're not gonna drop. They're gonna level out, possibly. Again, I keep talking about my magic ball. I don't have a magic ball in front of me, but everybody I've been talking to continues to say the same thing. We are a resort town, and we are a resort and vacation destination state. So people are always gonna love to come here. I don't foresee us ever dropping our rates. I think, like I've said in other videos, if you've watched them, the ceiling has now become the floor. This 350 is now our baseline, 350K home. So if you have a very specific budget, I highly recommend you get on it now and let's start looking for something, and let's get out there and be aggressive about it. But if you have some time to wait and you're not quite ready yet, maybe you're getting your funds together or what have you, working on your credit, which is also important, then you need to be watching the market. It's just like when you're watching stocks. Before you buy stocks, you watch that stuff. So it's important to understand the market before you start putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into it. So again, number 3, we put you on that personalized portal search, and then you have it at your fingertips and you can look as we go along here. All right, so that leads us to number 4, which is we gotta go tour homes. You gotta come to town. I'll pick you up at the airport or your Airbnb or your hotel, whatever you prefer. We'll jump in my car, or sometimes I tell people if they're gonna rent a car, they should follow me, because you should also drive the town yourself and kind of see how it feels. It's different when you're driving in our traffic than when I'm driving in the traffic. Again, watch a couple of my videos, which I talk a lot about the traffic. What I tend to do before you get to town is we obviously have a conversation of what is your plan? How many days are you gonna be here, and how many days are we allocating to searching for homes? We need to set aside, 2 to 3 days with 2 to 3 areas we focus on. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up at least 3 to 5 homes in those areas to go look at. Now we have to do this quickly because nothing is staying on the market more than 30 days. So if we make a plan, usually a couple of days before you get here, we start to map out which homes we're gonna take a look at. And we might throw some new construction in there as well. And then we're gonna drive that community. We are gonna drive that little town. We might go have lunch somewhere close by. If you guys have been talking to me about things that interest you, I will obviously shuttle you to that as well. Maybe we'll go for a walk. Maybe we'll go to the beach, those kinds of things. So I try to make sure that we have a good couple of days, and by the end of those couple of days, we really get to know each other really well, which also helps is during this process, obviously. And again, we're gonna try to come up with 2 to 3 areas to focus on, so that you kind of can feel one area is different from this area and that area, and then what actually feels more homey to you, or more like home to you. I did this with a client recently where we were looking at homes. They had decided no, Tarpon Springs. Now Tarpon Springs is in the northwest coast of Central Florida, and it's beautiful, but it's very different as you start driving south. And so as we drove south, we stopped in Dunedin, which is just like 20 miles below that on the coast there as well. That has a different view. And then we hung a left and we went downtown Tampa Road, and we started to drive through Safety Harbor and Oldsmar. And once we got to the home we were looking at in Oldsmar, I said to them, I go, so what did you think? And they're like, wow, everything is very different from each city we drove through. And I said that was why I took us that route, so that you could see, because they didn't know, do I like Dunedin? Is it too far west? Or Oldsmar, whatever. So it's really important to drive that around. At night, I usually tell people where they should go have dinner. I try to make suggestions like that. Go out, go drive around. And then, maybe bookend your trip with a free day here and there, so that when you're not with me, you can do some driving around or go revisit an area that we may have covered. And hopefully by the end of your trip, we've either found some houses we love, we want to put some offers in right away, or we get to narrow down the areas of interest so that we can really hone in on your next visit. Sometimes it takes more than one visit. I'm sorry, it does. You're making a huge investment and you're moving your life to another state. It's important that you visit Tampa in different seasons as well. If you're looking at 3 to 6, maybe 9 months out, I would come every couple of months, check out our weather. Right now, we're in November. This morning I woke up and it was 52 degrees. By the end of the day, it was 80 degrees. But it's beautiful out. Our humidity is low to nothing. The sky is blue. It feels like California weather to me. And we're just gonna get better and better as we lead into January and past the new year. And then of course, February, March, we're gonna start our incline back into the heat. So you might wanna plan some trips to see if you like our weather. It can be unpredictable, especially if it's summertime and it's a rainy season. So we'll talk about that on another video. Okay, and now we're moving on to number 5, which is get your finances in order, talk to a lender. I really actually, this is step number 2 for me if you're working with me, but I put it in here at number 5 because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to lenders. It's super important that you get a local lender that understands the Florida laws, and especially a lender that has worked with your agent. I have a couple of lenders that I work with, and for no particular reason, it's personality as well too. I think one lender might work well with one client and one lender will work well with another. Sometimes it has to do with products that they sell. Some sell different products than others. Some have first buyer programs, some don't. Some can offer some, down payment assistance, some can't. It just depends on what your needs are. So personally, I try to accommodate whatever you, being the buyer, needs, and I find you a lender that would accommodate you. And then I actually ask you to talk to 2 of them. And who's got the best rate? Because right now, as we all know, every now and then we're creeping up to the 3%, and then we're dropping up below 3 and going up to 3. We're not going to probably stay at 3 very long. So that is also another reason why, if you're looking to move, you need to not be waiting, because as soon as we start hitting above that 3, the market's going to kind of shift a little bit, right? So get in touch with a lender. If you have a lender that you've used in your state, it's fine to talk to them. So it's really important that you find a lender that you trust, that you like, and that can work well with your agent. And that is another reason why your agent's referral of a lender is important too, because if we've done multiple deals together, everything just runs more smoothly. So that is an advantage of using a lender that your agent has recommended. Also, something else you have to remember, in this day and age, you have to come to the table with an offer with a pre-approval letter. We cannot put an offer in without that pre-approval letter. So all of the lending side, all of your pre-approvals, talking to the lender, understanding where your credit score is. Does your credit score need a little fixing? How much cash are you going to need to close? How much cash are you willing to put down? All that stuff is very important as we start to strategize your plan. It's super important that you have that pre-approval letter before you get here. So I usually tell people, again, that's why it's really number 2 on my list. We talk, then I send you to your lender, or I send you a lender that I prefer to use so that you can get that pre-qualification letter. Then when you come to town, I've got that pre-qualification letter ready. And if we see something we love and we're gonna go sit down and write contracts really quick to put in an offer, I have to send that pre-approval letter with it. So it's very important to know and to explain to me, your agent, how you're going to be purchasing this home. Are you going to be getting a loan? Are you going to be paying cash? Even if you pay cash, you have to have proof of funds through a bank or some sort of pre-approval from a lender that can prove to the sellers that you actually have those funds in an account. That also has to go into an offer. So keep all that in mind. It's a deeper dive. If you work with me, we'll talk a little bit more about that, because that lending can be kind of tricky and it can get kind of confusing and people get a little weary. But that's again why you're going to want to use a preferred lender. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, number 6, the buying process. So you're going to leave me. Let's say we found a great house. We were able to get under contract. Whoosh, that's done. Now the race starts. We've got an inspection period. We've got an appraisal time. We've got a financing contingency. We've got all these little benchmarks that we have to meet before we can actually get to the closing date. Some of which is in our control, some of which is in the lender's control. So while you are back at your home in another state, who's your advocate? So I can handle all of the inspections for you. I've done this before with many clients that are relocating, and we've done the inspection over FaceTime. and you speak to the inspector, and the inspector usually gives you a report anyway, and then we discuss what's on that report and decide how we want to move forward. It's also important that you get your deposit and your escrow money deposit in the 3 days. So that's a very quick benchmark. Get that inspection done. Is everything clean? And then the appraisal is ordered. And then once we hit that appraisal and we're fine there, then we're off to the races. And it's the lender's job then to get everything in order, clear title, everything, so that we can close on time. And we've been lucky in Florida that we've still, even though it's been a nutty little race out here, 30, 45 days at the most to close. So you have to be prepared for that too. Once we go under contract, you don't want to set any specific move dates until we've hit that appraisal, once the appraisal has cleared, because then we kind of have an idea if we're going to be able to close on time and there's no real hiccups with financing. Sometimes things can go a little wonky, but for the most part, I'm going to be honest with you, I've had really good luck with things going smoothly. Now, sometimes, things don't happen according to your plan or the date that you would like, buyer. But again, we are at the mercy of the lenders when it comes to making sure we close on time. But they want to close on time as well. So I can be the person that handles all the boots on the ground when it comes to being there for the appraisal. And then when it comes to closing time, we can have a notary be sent to your office, and everything can be done with a notary. It will come to you. Most things are done electronically now anyway. You'll just need like a handful of wet signatures, but that notary takes care of that, and then we're golden. Once it's funded, you get the keys, and we're rocking and rolling. A lot of people like to come in town for the closing. Obviously, they want to pick up the keys in person and go check out the place and do all that. It's a wonderful day, and so we can do that together as well. I can also do the walkthrough for you virtually. Make sure that, God forbid, nothing bad has happened between going under contract to closing date. So those are things we would discuss. But it's important, again, that you have that trust that I'm going to have your back, and I have a fiduciary duty to have your back, by the way, as well. That is the benefit of having an agent in your corner, is it's our job legally to make sure that everything is happening according to the contract and that those dates are being met. So again, very important. I'm reminded whenever I talk about the buying process, 4 years ago, like I mentioned, when I bought my condo that I'm sitting in very happily, and the steps, I'm one of those kind of people that needs the steps. I need to know where do I begin, where's the middle, and where's the end. And I was lucky enough to find an agent that actually inspired me to become an agent. And they walked me through the process and held my hand and went above and beyond and took care of me and showed me the process. And the funny thing is when you're buying, and it can be daunting. You forget the process. And so I am here to help you along the way, remind you, no, we got to get through inspection first. No, we got to wait for the appraisal. No, everything's got a clear title. We got to get that closing declaration so so we can get clear to close. That's my job. We talk a lot during the sales process. In those 30 days, we talk a lot. And it's really my job and my pleasure to hold your hand through that process so that we can get to the closing day. So I know this was a lot to put out there to you. I'm here to answer any more questions you may have about moving and relocating to Florida. Don't forget to reach out to me if that's something you're considering and you need some guidance. I'd love to help you. You can also comment below if you have any questions, and I can also respond to you there, or maybe some other people will respond to you with their experience. And if you ever need any assistance with any resources here in Florida, I'm your girl. So reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, I would really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you can be notified when I have new videos dropping. So thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. More to come. Have a great holiday season. Bye.